Well, Ryan, the Essex Eagles, fantastic run in 2020 recently, carries on in the finals day for the first time since 2013. Been an incredible run, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a great achievement, particularly the way we fought it back in the last few games after all those rained off games, and I stuck my neck out for this team early on in the competition in the 50 over stuff. I think a lot of the criticism has been unfair for a changing team. It's come from all sides, and I'm just delighted for everyone to turn things around and just show that we can compete despite all the hurdles, no overseas in the first few games with Mo's visa, Mo going home early, and Harmy just trusting the young guys who haven't played much, and they've done a great job.
The odds seem to be stacked against us, even qualifying for the quarter-finals, 4 rain-affected games, 3 where we didn't even get on the field. But as I say, we've hit our straps when it really mattered, and then more problems going into this game without Mohamed Amir, who's been a very, very key player for us with bowling. But again, somebody else came in, stepped forward, and stepped up to the plate. And as I say, the success keeps going, doesn't it?
Yeah, Mo's been fantastic throughout the whole tournament. I think Maga and Simon deserve a lot of credit for showing faith in Beard. He obviously missed a few games with the injury, and then just when Mo wasn't available, it was like, okay, it's bad luck. Beardy's going to do the job for us. Let's go to Durham and get stuck in. And look, it hasn't been a polished performance by any means, but I think we have tapered off in one-day cricket. And I said as well that I thought it was a result of maybe unconsciously moving attention to red ball stuff, and I knew eventually it would come good. I think we can get a lot better, but the signs of someone like Aaron Beard having a fairly good campaign, Dan Lawrence has come of age in this campaign. Things go in cycles, and it's only the tough and the brave who can ride it out without being too negative, and things eventually turn.
That was a decent Lancashire score on that pitch, wasn't it? They're not don't get the biggest scores in 2020 at the Riverside, so it was quite a challenging target, made even more so by the rain interruptions, I guess, where all of a sudden Duckworth Stern was going to come in. You were involved in that, weren't you? Making sure the rate was just ahead of what we wanted, so that was pressure as well, plus the pressure of knowing that if the game did go the full length, we needed to get that decent score. This is where your experience of 2020 cricket around the world comes in, I suppose, and a perfect partner in Ravi Bopara.
Yeah, I think conditions did change. It got slightly easier, and I thought we bowled brilliantly in the first 12 overs. We probably outbowled them in those overs, and then that's what made it a reasonable score. I think 10 or 20 more, even with the changing conditions, would have been tough. And we took a lesson out of their book, how well they ran between the wickets. I think they only had 1 6 innings. I could be mistaken.
Yeah.
And we, the plan was to stay in the game and hopefully have a flourish like they did at the end. And like you say, Rav, I think that's 3 man of the match performance in a row. And I just knew if I kept ticking over that either him or the kid, Dan Lawrence, would eventually get a few boundaries away. And we've done it at a canter in the end.
60 and 5 overs was the partnership between you and Ravi, and then 23 off the last 2 overs. Did you both believe that it was there for the taking, that you were going to get it, because you really upped the tempo, didn't you?
Yeah, I think Duckworth Lewis is always a good indicator, and we were there or thereabout the whole way through. I was very conscious of that. Obviously James Faulkner is still a very good bowler, so the plan was just to sit in his overs, and we knew somewhere else we would get a big over. Ravi hitting Faulkner's last ball for 6 was, I think, the turning point. Getting it under 30 for the last 2 overs, or well under 30. It went from 29 to 23. We knew there would be one big over out of the last 2, and Rav was determined to do it in the 19th. And he picked his balls very well, and like I said, was done with 6 balls to split.
In your lengthy career so far with Essex, you've had a lot of highs. This must rate us right up with them, mustn't it? Because it has been a frustration to you, hasn't it? Our white ball performance really not being able to sort of just get over that hurdle. I think we went into this game, 9 matches, knockout matches since 2013 without actually getting a victory. We've broken that, and you just think perhaps this year Essex Eagles have got their name on that trophy.
It's great to make any playoff situation. It's tough. South Group's very tough, and probably the most pleasing thing this year, like I say, is I knew it would turn eventually. Like I said, it hasn't been the best year, but with the odds stacked against us, and with how poorly we have performed in the last 3 years or so, and particularly with our record in in quarterfinals and or knockout stages, this is very rewarding to go to finals day again. And, it's always a great day out, finals day, and the boys are relishing the chance to go, and I'm sure the people who support us will come along as well, and it is a great achievement for the club.
And your own form is something for personal satisfaction, isn't it?
It's been a frustrating campaign. I've got 4 scores, but I've also got 5 or 6 scores below 10, which is really not like me. I've struggled a little bit to adapt to the role. We've identified 7 to 14 where we want to be better, and I haven't been particularly good at accelerating through that process. But I can't explain to you how hard I've worked, and all the boys, and particularly Huggy, Tom Huggins has worked really hard with me in the last 2 weeks, and Jake Nickelborough as well. And again, like, I knew it would come at some stage, the knock at Surrey and the knock here is very rewarding for all the work I put in the last couple of weeks.